He wasn't loud, wasn't angry, didn't point fingers, didn't pump his fists to chase the roar. He simply stood where danger ended. Peter Simpson played nearly 500 times for Arsenal without ever needing the world to notice. He wasn't the headline, wasn't the poster. But when the match turned tense, he was the one holding the line like it was muscle memory. He didn't play for attention. He played so others didn't have to panic. In an era of hard men and highlight reels, Simpson just moved into the right place before anyone else saw it forming. No noise, no drama, no crisis, because he didn't allow one. The double, the Fairs Cup, a decade of top-flight control. And still no England cap, no statue outside Highbury, no send-off when it ended. And yet, ask the men who played beside him and they'll tell you he was the calm the storm avoided. If you want to know what greatness looks like when it doesn't ask for permission, look for Peter Simpson, and you'll find him already there. Subscribe if you still believe the most trusted leaders never needed an armband to make the whole pitch follow. He was born by the sea. 13th January 1945, Gorleston-on-Sea, Norfolk. A quiet town, more fishing than football, more wind than noise. But Peter Simpson wasn't chasing noise, he was chasing control. He joined Arsenal's ground staff at 15, not as a prodigy, just a boy who moved like he understood the pitch before it spoke. By 16, the coaches already knew he didn't stand out by shouting. He stood out by never stepping wrong. He signed pro in April 1962, still quiet, still unknown. And 2 years later, on the 14th of March 1964, he made his first team debut thrown into a 4-2 loss to Chelsea. A backline under pressure. A teenager in the middle of it, no panic, no protest. Simpson just played like the moment had waited for him. Back then, Arsenal were in transition. No trophies, no swagger, no sense yet of what they could become. But Simpson, he was already what they needed. He didn't ask for a position. He adapted to the one that served the team. First as a left half, later shifted into the heart of defense, not because he asked, but because the shape was stronger with him at its core. By 1966, he wasn't a prospect. He was essential. Not the one who made the team famous, but the one who made it work. And while others played with energy, Simpson played with awareness. He arrived before they formed. No armband, no noise, no celebration. Just a defender who treated structure like it was sacred. And gave Arsenal their first glimpse of what silence can do when it plays to win. By the time the late 1960s arrived, Arsenal was still chasing belief. A club searching for shape, a squad needing spine, and Peter Simpson? He became both. Not through speeches, not with swagger, but with the kind of football that made others feel safe. Week after week, he didn't just defend, he calmed the match. He partnered Frank McClintock, but he wasn't McClintock's echo. McClintock barked, Simpson listened, McClintock attacked. Simpson anticipated. They were opposites, which is why they worked. He read space like it was a map he'd drawn himself. And his reward? 1968-69. Voted Arsenal's Player of the Season. No interviews, no campaign. Just recognition that silence had been holding the team together. This wasn't an era built for subtlety. Defenders were supposed to be aggressive, vocal, dramatic. Simpson wasn't. And that's exactly why he stood out. Not because he made defenders look tough, but because he made defending look thoughtful. By 1970, Arsenal were no longer building, they were ready. And in the heart of that transformation, Peter Simpson never changed. He didn't get faster, didn't get louder, he just got clearer. Clearer in his reads, clearer in his timing, clearer in being exactly what Arsenal needed every time. That year, they reached the Intercities Fairs Cup final, a rare European spotlight for an English side still earning respect. First leg, Arsenal lost 3-1 to Anderlecht. Second leg at Highbury, they needed something heroic. And while the headlines focused on the 3-0 comeback, the noise, the goals, the roar, Simpson didn't chase it. He just turned around, reset the backline, and made sure they didn't concede once. Because to him, winning wasn't about celebration, it was about doing it again next week. Then came 1970-71, the year Arsenal made history, the double, league, and FA Cup. And through the noise, through the pressure, Simpson remained the same. He played 42 league matches, every FA Cup match, no rest, no errors, Just a wall of composure others leaned on when the pitch tilted. May 3rd, 1971. Arsenal needed to win the title at White Hart Lane. Tottenham's home, enemy territory, pressure on every blade of grass. Simpson? Stone silent, stone solid. Then, Wembley. FA Cup Final. 120 minutes of trench warfare against Liverpool. And there, he was not lunging, not shouting, just reading the game like it was already written. Arsenal lifted the cup, lifted the shield, lifted a legacy. And Peter Simpson? He quietly walked off, folded his shirt, cleaned his boots, as if history hadn't just happened on his watch. He wasn't just one of the best in England. He was the reason Arsenal's defense looked unbeatable. But when England called up defenders, they called others. Bobby Moore, Norman Hunter, Roy McFarland, fine players, legends even. But ask anyone who stood beside Peter Simpson and they'll tell you, this man was as good as any of them. He didn't get the caps, didn't even get the trial. In 1971, the year of the double, he anchored the best backline in the country. Flawless positioning, zero panic, 90 minutes of silence and control. Still no call. They said he wasn't fast enough, said he wasn't vocal, said he didn't look like an England defender, because he didn't fly into tackles for the cameras. He stopped attacks before they ever needed one. He made defending look too easy, and England missed it. Bob McNabb once said, "If you watched Peter in five-a-side, you'd think he should have had 60 caps. He read the game like the Beano." But England never read him at all. And Simpson? He didn't complain, didn't go to the papers, didn't throw shade. He showed up, played perfectly, left quietly. They called him Stan. Not because it was his name, but because he moved through the dressing room like a Laurel and Hardy sketch, silent, understated, a background rhythm everyone relied on without needing to say it. Before matches, he'd sneak off for a smoke. 5 minutes to kick off, someone would yell, "Time to go, Stan." You'd hear a flush, and out he came ready to play like Serenity in boots. Peter Simpson wasn't in love with football. Not really. He'd rather be on a golf course, said Peter Story, but he played like a man who couldn't accept being second best. In training, he didn't bark. He just moved. Showed you where to be by already being there. Bertie Mee changed tactics. Simpson didn't flinch, didn't argue, he just adapted. Silently, perfectly. There was no send-off, no testimonial, no North Bank roar. Peter Simpson gave Arsenal 18 years, held the backline together for 477 matches, started as a kid polishing boots, left as a man who made others brave, and yet, when it ended, just a handshake. A locker cleared, a calm walk away, no banners, no spotlight, just the silence he'd always made sacred. He had offers a short spell with Boston Beacons, a stint at Toronto Hellas, 6 games with New England T-men. But even then, he wasn't chasing applause. He was finishing the book the same way he'd written it page by page, without ego. "I've lost half a yard of pace," he once told Terry Neal. Neal laughed. "You never had pace, Peter. What you had was irreplaceable." He didn't move into coaching, didn't sell his legacy for a pundit's chair, didn't write a memoir. He simply left the game the way he entered it. Measured, complete, uncompromised. Peter Simpson left Arsenal in 1978. No fuss, no farewell match. He didn't ask for applause, he never needed it. A few months later, he crossed the Atlantic. Toronto Hellas, then the Boston Beacons. A short spell with the New England T-men in the North American Soccer League. 6 games, 1 clean exit, no long goodbye, no final headline. When his boots came off for good, so did the spotlight. He didn't chase coaching, didn't pose behind pundit desks, didn't write a memoir or sell nostalgia. He simply returned to ordinary life the same way he played, without noise, without ego, without ever demanding to be seen. Peter Simpson was never here to be famous. He was here to be trusted. And when he was done, he left that trust standing tall. Peter Simpson is 80 years old now. He lives a private life in the south of England, quiet, steady, and far from the noise of modern football. He doesn't appear on camera, doesn't give interviews, doesn't chase the game for attention. He stepped away with the same calm he once brought to every match, measured, complete, and without complaint. There's no statue at the Emirates, no media tributes, but for those who understand what real trust looked like in football, his name still means something. Because Simpson didn't just play the game, he anchored it, then let go when his work was done. Subscribe if you still believe the greatest defenders were the ones who never flinched even when no one was watching.